Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for subscribing, liking, and commenting, and creating a small community down in our YouTube's comment section. I read all your comments and try to reply to all of them the best I can. So in today's video, we're going to be doing new to R2. This one's for you. This is all about basically new ownership for a lot of people because R2 is going to be their first EV. So let's get into what we think are going to be some of the best tips and tricks that you should know for being new to EVs, especially R2. And we're going to go through that with our almost 10 years of experience in over 12 different EVs. Let's get right into it. First up is going to be basically software focused vehicles. So R2 and a lot of EVs, I'm gonna say from the big three in the EV manufacturing world, which is gonna be Tesla, Rivian, and Lucid, are gonna be software focused first. Hardware is great in most of these as well, but their real shine and their staple is gonna be their software. So let's start off with how you're gonna interact with your vehicle, the R2, when you first get one. It's going to be through your phone. In fact, you're gonna take delivery via your phone. You're gonna go in, you're gonna be able to hit accept delivery, slide up, and then the phone mobile app, Rivian mobile app, will then show you your R2 there and give you access to it. The way you're gonna get in and out of your car is going to be three different ways. You're gonna have phone as key, you can do phone as key and watch as key. So you can have an Apple Watch or other watches and it can sync and be an actual key device for your actual R2. You can have key cards, and you're gonna have a key fob. Now, the key fob, I think a lot of people that are coming from gas vehicles are gonna be very familiar with the key fob. You kind of leave it in your bag or your pocket or wherever, and it will work passively to get in and out of the car. Now, key fobs are currently coming standard with launch edition vehicles. Non-launch edition vehicles, when those deliveries begin, will not have key fobs. So in that case, you're gonna have phone as key, phone/watch, and you're gonna get two key cards. The big thing about this is I'm gonna stress is I don't care who tells you or whatever. You can even believe me or not, but the thing is I'm gonna tell you is you are to never leave the home without your key card in the event that your phone or watch or something goes on with the connection and you can't get in. You will always have your key card to get you into the vehicle and start the vehicle. Very simple to use. We'll insert a video clip so you can see how using the key card works. It's very simple. And the driver display in your Rivian will actually walk you through the steps of how to make the vehicle start. You know, short and sweet, you're gonna tap it up against the door handle, the driver door handle. The door handles will open. You're gonna get in and you're gonna put the key card on the wireless charging pad right there and then press the brake and the car will start up. So again, that's the first part of software-defined vehicles because again, what you're gonna do with your car is you're gonna interact with it, trying to lock and unlock the car, start the car, drive the car, all of those functions are gonna be through that. So phone key is the biggest way and the most common way you're gonna use your Rivian and how to unlock and lock it. Next is gonna be OTA updates. OTA stands for over the air, or another word that people are familiar with is software updates. Yes, your Rivian and a lot of EVs out there are going to get software updates. And this can be done at home or anywhere that your vehicle has a connection. When Rivian does send this out to its fleet, sometimes they can push this over a cellular connection, meaning in the R2, it is a 5G LTE or 3G connection. And in R1 vehicles, it's gonna be a 4G LTE connection. They can push it over that, but most of the time it's gonna be pushed over a Wi-Fi connection. You can do that at home. Again, if you have a Wi-Fi hotspot on your cell phone, you can do it that way. A lot of people who live in apartments, condos, or places like that, they use their phone's hotspot to download the software and install it on their vehicle. This is gonna keep the car as fresh as possible, meaning you will go to bed and wake up with a brand new software experience, which can be a huge plus for a lot of people. It makes the car feel new and extends the, I want to say lifespan of the vehicle, but it expands that feature set on the car. As you know, if typical cars, when you buy them, if there was a software update, you would have to take it into the dealer, they would do it, but it didn't really do or bring new features to your vehicle. It was more so to update security things for the car or fix computer issues in the car. with Rivian, as an example, in the last almost 2 months that we've owned our R2, we've gotten bug fixes, new features. They're bringing us closer in parallel with R1. And with the new software 2026.31, we're going to get even more features into our vehicles. And again, with these software updates, they are free. They fix problems. They can even do recalls that NHTSA comes up with. They can do security fixes. They can do a whole lot of things and completely change the way your R2 works. So from today or whenever you take delivery of your R2, or I would say a Tesla, a Lucid, or a Ford, or any of those kind of vehicles that support over-the-air updates, the vehicle will be vastly different in most cases 6 months to a year later. And it's almost shocking when you think of that, because most of the time when you would buy your regular cars or your ICE cars, when you buy it, that's what the car is going to be for the next however long you own it. So again, it evolves over time, and this keeps it up to date. Like your cell phone, think of it like that. There is a negative to this, because if they can give it, they can take it away. As an example, in the recent software update on Rivian's R1 vehicles, they took away Amazon Alexa's support on the vehicle in favor of the Rivian Assistant. A lot of people did not like that, because the only way to access Amazon Music was through Alexa. That was the only way you could do it. And when they took that away, they did not give us an Amazon Music app in the vehicle for us to use. So again, it's a double-edged sword. It is rare that they take away major things without giving us a replacement. And like we know, Wasim has made it very clear that we are going to get an Amazon Music dedicated app. So therefore, yes, it sucks right now, but again, they can fix it and bring out something that's even better and more deeply integrated into the car. So what are some of the things we've gotten in our OTAs lately? We got better software. So they fixed some bugs in it. We've gotten a garage door opener added. I know, shocker, right? That we didn't get a garage door opener right when the vehicle launched. Is what it is. We got it now. Rivian Assistant is coming very, very, very soon. I'm telling you, very soon. The sound system, I spoke about this in other videos, but the sound system in R2 for me is very good. It's, in my opinion, the best audio system so far that Rivian has done, far as Rivian branded. The Meridian sound system in the Gen 1s, I still think is better. But again, that's never coming back as we know it. But I think this is very, very good. It is acceptable. It is a little bit above acceptable. It is not bad. We enjoy listening to music, and I don't necessarily complain about it anymore. Sounds very good. I don't want people to think that, software is a bad thing and something you should be afraid of. I know, like my parents, they don't necessarily like to update their iPhones. My mom gets very nervous about that because she feels like it's going to change too much, but it's not as bad as you may think. They do normally do a massive change, maybe once a year or something like that. But again, when it comes on, it's going to give you a full walkthrough of what's new, where new things are. And you can always come back to my channel and see, because I'm going to do a full walkthrough of every software update that comes out, so you know what's new, what to expect, and where to find some of the things that you've used the entire time. So again, to wrap this section up for software-focused vehicles, you're going to have improvements done to your vehicle. You're going to have new features added to your vehicle. And this also includes the mobile app. The mobile app will get deeper integrated into the Rivian ecosystem. And again, eventually your vehicle becomes like your cell phone. That's exactly what it is. It becomes a part of you, and it just evolves with you over time. Let's talk about some of the controls in the vehicle that you should be aware of in your EVs. In our household, we have Tesla and Rivian vehicles. We currently have a Model Y Performance, the Juniper variant, and we have an R2 Performance Launch Edition. Both of these have one feature that is very controversial to a lot of people. For me, it's not. I've gotten used to it. I'm over it, and it works for me a lot better than it did on R1, at least, is the air vent control. When it comes to this, you have a driver profile within your Rivian, and with Tesla, same thing. It's going to apply to more than just Rivians, but in your driver profile, and it's going to save a lot of functions in your car. Those functions are going to be, as an example, your driver display settings, your ambient lighting settings. It's going to control like your home navigation, your work locations, your favorite saved locations within that. It will also do your music selection. So if you have an Apple Music account, and let's say like me and my spouse, we have 2 separate Apple Music accounts. Those accounts are linked to our profile. So when he's in the car, his Apple Music is there. When I'm in the car, mine is there. So it also is going to save your air vent placements. They do not have manual air vents for the front of R2. The rear passengers, you do have a manual where you can move it up and down, left and right, but you cannot turn it off manually. You have to, have someone up front turn that off or turn it on for you. But again, once you set the location of where you want those vents, they have an A and a B setting. So you have 2 different locations you can save within the vehicle. So I can move it. Let's say I want the air to blow on my face for whatever reason. If that's what I like, you can press A and save it there. And then I can also have it where I can split the vent so the air blows past me both ways or wherever I want it, and set that for section B. So therefore now I have a toggle where I can just go A and B for my most common vent placements that I use. I don't know about you guys, but I know for me, I don't normally touch the vents once I got them kind of set. Once they're set for me, that's it. Now, on some days, if I go out or we've been out like at a theme park or whatever, and we're hot and sweaty, that does change. You may want the air to blow directly on your face. But for me, that's as simple as just move the vent once and that's it. And then once I'm driving, I would hit my HVAC controls. I would hit A to go back to my normal setting. So for me, it's not a big deal, but I know a lot of new EV owners and a lot of people new to Rivian, they may not like that feature and it may take some getting used to. Again, this is not here to bash Rivian or make them seem like they're the perfect vehicle, or even Tesla or Lucid or any of it. This is just a beginner's kind of guide to let you know what to expect, how it's going to go, what's different and what's not different. Now, let's talk about the driving portions of driving an EV for the first time, driving dynamics. There's a few things that are different from your gas car versus an EV. And every EV manufacturer does the one pedal driving very differently. So one pedal driving is basically exactly what it says. You're going to use the accelerator pedal or the gas pedal. That's what you're going to use. We say accelerator because there isn't any fuel in the car, so that's what we're doing. The accelerator pedal is going to be used for moving the vehicle forward and slowing the vehicle down. As you lift your foot off of the accelerator pedal, the vehicle will start to slow itself down. That is going to turn into regenerative braking. So one pedal driving is different than regenerative braking, but they work together. I want you to understand that they are simultaneously working together. You can reduce how regen braking works in the R2 and in Teslas and in Rivians and Honda. You can do Hyundai, Kia, you can do all of that, but it just depends on what you want. The most natural thing you're going to want to do is probably turn it off when you first get in your R2 for the very first time. I am not talking to seasoned EV drivers, guys, down in the comments. We understand that it's better for efficiency and range, but for the new people that are joining the community, they may need a stepping stone to get themselves there. So again, most vehicles are going to have different variations. They're going to have, some of them are going to have high, medium, and low. Some of them are just going to have high. Some are going to have off. It just depends on your vehicle. Now, in the Rivian, we have ours set to high. That means it's going to capture the most energy back into the battery pack to help with efficiency and range. Again, what is regenerative braking? As the vehicle is slowing down, we are capturing that energy that we are regenerating back, and it's going into the battery to charge it. So we'll show you what that looks like on the screen. There's a green bar that's going to tell you that's what you're regenerating back into the battery versus what you are pulling out, which on the Rivian guide is going to be when you're going downward on the right-hand side of your driver display. It's going to show you green, which means you are capturing energy back, and yellow means you're pulling energy out of the battery. So again, one pedal driving takes some getting used to, but once you get it, you're going to love it because you rarely have to tap the brakes. The brakes still work like normal. If there's an emergency and you need to stop, using that brake pedal is going to be the best way for you. That's common sense. I hope everybody understands that. But if you need the brakes, they're there. It is a brake-by-wire system, but for most beginners, pressing the brake, especially if you're jamming on them, it's going to work exactly as your ICE car does. Next thing is going to be instant torque. with gas cars, high performing gas cars, they have launch modes and different things. You can put it in sport modes, which may change the throttle mapping and the transmission shifting. In an EV, you can kind of do that, but they're going to be known for their instant torque. What that means is when you press down on the throttle, it's like a light switch. So it's going to turn on and go. The more you press it, the faster it's going to go. No different than your ICE car. However, the acceleration of it is going to be more rapid over your gas car, where you have to technically wait for it to rev up, switch gears. If you have a turbocharger or a supercharger, you got to wait for boost to come on, all of those things. So with the EV, it does take some getting used to, and you got to be a little bit more lighter on the accelerator pedal when you first start, because again, with that instant torque and the heaviness of a lot of the EVs, you're going to go through tires a little bit more. That's okay. It wears off after a time. After you've done it a few times, you're going to be driving normal and you'll be like, oh, it's no different. But I want people to understand what that is, how that functions, and what to expect as a beginner coming into an EV / an R2 or any of them. Again, all of this can be translated over to any EV essentially. Next up is going to be probably the biggest topic, charging. Well, range too, but that's going to be in a separate conversation, but charging. Charging is where I see across social media, it is talked about vastly different. And when I talk to family members or my spouse's family members, a lot of them say they love all the content that's out there by other content creators. But what ends up happening is they feel like they get lost because some of them talk, too high level or too nerd level. It just kind of depends. Now, when I talk about charging, I'm going to explain the differences between them, what to expect, how to do it, what the different levels of charging are, what you should do if you live in an apartment or a condo, all of those things, because it's a lot. Everyone is not the same. Everyone doesn't have a townhouse or a single family home or somewhere that they can park their vehicle in a garage or outside where they have a dedicated spot for their vehicle to charge. So let's start with, it's a different mindset over what an ICE car is and ICE car and a EV. Sorry, I was gonna say ICE car and gas car, like that's not the same thing, duh. But what it is basically your mindset needs to change. What I want you to think of is the mindset that you've had with owning gas cars is gonna be, oh, I go to the gas station maybe once or twice a week and I fill it up and I can go a couple of days and I only go to the gas station when the vehicle's low on fuel. When it comes to an EV, the beauty of having an EV and home charging, and I'm gonna keep saying home charging, is I don't have to go to a gas station because my home is the place where I refuel, whatever word you want to use for it. For me, it's going to be recharge my vehicle. I want you to think of your vehicle like your cell phone or like your mobile device, your iPhone, your iPad, your Pixel XL, whatever you want, whatever you have, you're going to treat it the same way. When you come home from work, a trip, road trips, school pickups, dancing, studios, veterinarian, whatever you want to pick up, school pickups, all of it. When you do that, you're going to plug your vehicle in when you get at home and you're not going to think about it. You're going to plug it in. You're going to have your charge level set and it's going to go to that charge level for you. And it's always ready for you by the morning. Does that change depending on the level of charge that I am using or charger that I'm using? Yes. So let's start with level 1 charging, or what we will call the 110 or 120 volt regular house plug. What that is basically your standard outlet, the same outlet that you plug your iPhone into or your iPad into. It can charge your car as well. It may charge it very slowly, but it can charge your device. In the R2 does not come with a mobile charging system or like what we call a travel charger. It does not come with that in a lot of states. There are some states that certain adapters will be included in your vehicle and even a mobile charger, but that is not everywhere. So you would want to check with your Rivian advisor or Rivian guide when you're going through your delivery if your state qualifies for that. And I will list the states that you get what you get in, because I think Florida is not one where I live. So level 1 is going to be your slowest charge that you can possibly get. It's going to give you, in the kilowatt side, it's going to give you 1.4 kilowatts, which essentially the battery is going to take 1 kilowatt. So the Rivian R2 battery pack, since we're talking about Rivian, is 88 kilowatt hours usable. So if I'm charging at 1 kilowatt, you could see how long that could take. 1 times 88 kilowatts, if you had to, that's a long time, correct? And that may make you say, oh, I don't want that. That's going to take up too much time, blah, 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 blah. However, that's not always the case, because you need to look at what your daily commute is, you know, what you're doing that day. There's a lot of people who will go on camping trips or go out to RV parks and they will plug their car in and they're going to be there a couple of days. They're not going to really move that much. They're there to camp and enjoy the outside life. So they're not thinking about it. You just plug it in and you come back to it and it's got enough range to get you to go wherever you need to go. We will dive more into level 1 charging, and I'll actually show you what that looks like on an R2 in just a moment. All right, guys, this is going to be the level 1 charger, which also can be your level 2 charger. It really just depends on the power output that you're getting. So if you come over here, we're using my Tesla mobile connector because I have multiples of these. And in where I am, the R2 does not come with a mobile connector. You have to purchase it when you're here. There are, like I said in the previous parts of this video, there are states that do require them to give you adapters and all those things, and I'll list them on the screen. But as you see, we're plugged into a regular 120 outlet here. The Tesla logo is lit up. This is the charger. We're gonna come around. You guys know how this part goes. You're just gonna plug it in. You're gonna plug it in like so. And as you see, shortly, that's normal for it to do that, so just give it a second. It clicked. And there's the charging. So I'm gonna jump in the car so you can kind of see what it's gonna look like here. And inside here, we are doing, on the screen here, 2 miles per kilowatt hour here, as you see. That's what it's saying it's gonna do. And to go from 60% to, we just set it to, I believe, 80%, 85%. It says 22 hours and 40 minutes. Now, I know some people are gonna go, oh my God, that's so much time. It is. It's almost a full day to go up 15% charge. But again, if you're not driving but no more than a few hours, a few miles a day, 20, 30-ish miles, this is gonna be more than enough. You're gonna be able to replenish your charge overnight of where you gotta go. And again, let's say you drop off your kids and then it's a lighter day and you're sitting at home not doing much, the car's gonna be charging while it's sitting at home in your garage or driveway, wherever, charging. So level 1 can be used. You can use it anywhere. It can be used as an emergency type of thing. You can do anything you need to do, but you can charge the car on a 120, as you see. It's very slow, but it can be done. So I just wanted to demonstrate that so that way everybody kind of knew what it looked like and what you can expect. So you wanted to know what you needed. You can do, 2 miles you're getting 2 miles an hour is what that is. So in 1 hour, the car would have picked up 2 miles. Hope that helps. Level 2 charging is what we're gonna mostly talk about when we say home charging. Yes, level 1 charging is home charging. A lot of people call it trickle charging like we discussed, but level 2 is gonna be basically when I say this, I would say like your breaker sizes are gonna start getting up to, 40 amp or 50 amp, 60 amp. That's where you're gonna start seeing the higher amperages and the more higher kilowatt power chargers at home. This is what I think you should have at home. If you are a person, like we discussed with level 1, if you are a person that does 20 to 30 miles a day, level 1's probably all you need, to be quite honest with you. And you can top up on a level 3 or a DC fast charger, Tesla supercharger, the Rivian Adventure Network, which is their DC fast charger, Ayana, Electrify America, there's a ton of them that you can go to and you can top up if needed. And EV charging is not the vast desert that it used to be back in 2016 and 17 and even, through 2019. It really isn't that. Now, you can get anywhere you need to go with an EV anywhere. Like, I don't want people to be afraid of that. But again, back on topic of level 2 home charging, at my house, we have 2 level 2 chargers here in our home. We have 2 50 amp breakers that are separate that we run for our 2 Tesla wall connectors that we have. That charges our Tesla Model Y Performance and our Rivian R2 launch edition. They charge both of them. They can charge at the same time. Now, What do we get far as output? We're getting about 9.4 to 9.6 kilowatts of power going into the battery. Also, when that amperage starts to come up, the voltage starts to come up, there's a lot less heat loss and, waste. When you're using energy, obviously there's going to be some heat, and that's going to basically, just go poof to the air. So you lose some of that through charging losses. Now, when you use a level 1, you don't have much energy going in. So all of that loss that you may have, you're just it takes even longer to charge the car. But since it's an easier 1-to-1 ratio when you're charging on a level 2, it makes a lot more sense. Now, there are multiple ways that you can get level 2 charging in your home. You can buy, you can do a NEMA 1450 outlet. There are people who do NEMA 1430s, 1030s. There's all different types of plugs that you can put in. And I cannot stress enough that you should always seek a licensed professional electrician to install these things in your home for safety reasons. If you want to do that on your own, that's on you. Me, I'm not doing that. Mine was installed professionally. Even if I could have done it, have I done it in the past? Sure. But I'm going to stress to you, you need to make sure that you have a licensed professional doing this installation. Now, again, you don't have to get a Rivian wall connector. You don't have to get a Tesla wall connector. There are tons of other models that are out there. You get the one that fits your needs. And I don't want, what I see a lot of, I shouldn't say what I don't want is, I see a lot of people saying, oh, you got to get the max, you got to get a 60 amp breaker so you can have, 48 amps of power going into the car because your car can accept 11 kilowatts. Is it great if you can do that? Absolutely. But this is for beginners. What about the people who are brand new to this? They've lived in their home for 30 or 40 years, or their home that they purchased is older, and the electrical system is not economic enough for them to, have the entire panel redone. There's a whole lot of things. I don't want people to think that they can't get a lower amperage put in and still have a bad experience. As an example, on one of ours, we had a 30 amp breaker in our condo that we used to have back home in Maryland. That condo was a 30 amp breaker for our dryer. And what we used to do is unplug our dryer, and we plugged in a NEMA 1030 plug, and we would get 26 amps of power, which was about 6-ish kilowatts of charging power. 6 kilowatts is more than enough, if you think of more than enough, to charge my EV for my daily commute plus a whole lot more overnight. We never had a problem with that. Now, again, as temperatures drop, and if they get really, really cold, you're going to need a little bit more energy because the battery wants to heat itself. Same thing in the summer. If it gets really hot outside, the charger, again, it's creating heat. It has to drop its amperage down. So that means charging times are going to increase. I am not going to sit here and tell you, fibs, lies. I'm not doing it. I'm going to tell you the absolute truth. So the absolute bare minimum that I think that you absolutely need, 24 amps. That's going to give you, so you need a 30 amp breaker in America here, the 80% rule. That's going to give you 24 consistent draw. That's about 6 kilowatts. 6 kilowatts, you do 6 times the 88 kilowatt hour battery. That's going to tell you exactly roughly what it's going to take you to charge that up, so that you kind of know, well, if I'm getting 6 kilowatts an hour, you just got to figure out how long is that going to take? Or you would do 80. You know how math is not mathing right now for me. But yeah, that's what we would do. I'll show it on the screen for you so you can see kind of what it is. And that number, or the hours it takes to charge the battery, is going to come down the higher up or the more power that you have. If you want 11 kilowatts, by all means, you do it. It's going to be the fastest way to do it. If, for me, I don't have that. Even in our home, and this is not a brag, our home is a newer home, and we built it from the ground up, and we still didn't put in 2 60 amp breakers because it's not necessary. Could I? Sure. People may ask why. I'm like, it wasn't needed. I mean, I don't need that kind of power. And plus, half the time, we live in Florida full time, but it's so hot outside. My garage sometimes gets over 100 degrees. It's just not necessary. We've never had an issue on a 50 amp breaker with 40 amps of consistent draw. I never have woken up and my battery's never where I needed to. Nothing. I have come home dead, like 1 mile, 0 miles of range in there, and plugged it in, and it is all the way back to 80% well before I get up in the morning to go to work. So again, that's just level 2. I'm going to stress this. If you are buying an EV and this is your first, Rivian R2 is your first one, and you don't have a dedicated area where every day you're going to be able to plug that vehicle in, I would kind of consider maybe holding off. I am not telling you not to get an EV, but I want you to go into this knowing you're going to have to use DC fast charging a lot more than us that have places where we can plug it in. I know everyone is not fortunate enough to have that, and I recognize that. But you still can own an EV. There are plenty of people who have apartments and condos who don't, and they go to a DC fast charger, whether that be Tesla, Rivian, any of them, and they charge their car every 2 to 3 days. And if you're only doing small commutes, they may go a week plus before they have to charge it, depending on your commute. So again, there are options. And again, far as pricing goes with this, you have to look at what your utility rates are in your home or what you're paying. That's what it's going to cost you. If you think about it, I think for us, a full charge where we are is roughly $4 or $5, something like that. It's not much. Now, when I go charge at a DC fast charger, the Tesla supercharger, it's significantly more, but it's also significantly faster. And since we're talking about charging on a DC fast charger, there are multiple chargers that you can go to. Tesla, like I've said, Rivian Adventure Network, Ayana, Electrify America, the FPL ones that are down here in Florida, they all have different power outputs. I need you to understand this for my beginners. Just because you see a charger that says, as an example, 350 kilowatts, that does not mean that your vehicle will accept 350 kilowatts. That is basically what is happening is that charging provider and charging hardware can support 350 kilowatts. There's a lot more that goes into that. If you guys wanted something like that, we can sit down and do another separate video on that. But for the basics and the entry of this, like I said, you're new to R2, this is for you. You need to understand that your vehicle's maximum DC fast charging as of this filming in August, late August, is 230 kilowatts. That is the maximum that your vehicle can accept. So it does not matter if the charger says 350, 400, 1 megawatt. It does not matter. Your vehicle cannot accept more than 230 kilowatts on a DC fast charger. That is the fastest it can do. On a level 2 charger, which will encompass level 1, level 2 on an R2, the maximum it can accept is 11 kilowatts or a 48 amp charger. That's the maximum it will do. So I need people to understand that when you're out here driving, road tripping. Yes, some chargers are going to be 150 kilowatts and they may have a 350 kilowatt unit there. If they have 2 there and you want the maximum charge that your vehicle can accept on a DC fast charger, you would pick the 350 kilowatt unit. But I don't want you to expect because you're plugging into that you are going to get 350. You will not. So if your vehicle is showing 230, 229, or anything below that, it's probably normal. Again, the amount of power going into or what the vehicle can accept is going to greatly vary depending on charge status, available power at the station you're at, the weather conditions, what you were just doing in the vehicle, what you are pulling or what you're requesting from the vehicle, whether, again, you may have been just driving in Arizona where it's 120 degrees and the HVAC system is at full rip. Again, and the battery is very hot, so it may not be able to accept all of that power because it's too hot. Vice versa, if it's super cold outside, the battery is going to need to warm up to accept more power, so it will accept less power. These are just things that I think people should be aware of when you're coming into the EV or an R2 as a new owner. Hope that helps with that part because I see a lot of people confused or they're not sure or why is my vehicle not charging at this? It's just a thing to let people know that you're probably getting the expected numbers, but why or what the different chargers are, that was why. Again, 350, 400, your vehicle can accept power from those. It can't accept that maximum number that charger may be displaying. All right, guys, so what we're gonna do here is I first wanna say thanks for watching and subscribing and sticking with us through this. This is a longer form video for us and for you guys to watch. So we're gonna split this into 2. So part 2 will be coming out on Thursday. Yeah, it should be Thursday. So you're gonna have, yeah, you should see it Thursday. That should be part 2. That'll cover the second half of, you know, new to R2. This one's for you. There's a lot of content in this. So thanks for watching again and subscribing, and we'll see you guys on Thursday.
One more for us, there you go. Drink it up, all this love in a cup. Yeah, we go slow, we go fast. Yeah, we can't get enough. We stay